Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining and welcome to another session of our Day One and Beyond series, where we take you through various topics and activities related to building solutions on Oracle Cloud. My name is Joey Hall, and I'll be your host for today's session. And this will be the first session of our new 8-part series on the Oracle Analytics Cloud platform. This series is designed to help you unlock the full potential of OEC and transform your data into actionable insights. Because in a world increasingly driven by data, OEC empowers organizations to uncover hidden patterns, make data-driven decisions, and drive success with advanced analytics capabilities. I'm thrilled to kick off this journey with all of you today as we explore how the platform can help revolutionize the way you work with data. And to lead us through today's webinar, I'm honored to introduce our featured speakers for today, Sunil Jain from our customer enablement team and Pete Medura as our analytics expert. Pete, if you could let us know what customers should expect to get out of this enablement series today and what this initial session is all about.
Yeah, thanks, Joey. Simply put, users and organizations that have invested their time and money into this platform will always need training. And by offering these sessions on demand, customers can learn what they want on their schedule. As you'll see today, we've broken down the platform into functional areas that cover topics like data visualization, data preparation, machine learning, and administration, to name a few. We've developed this Day One and Beyond series based on thousands of hours of customer interactions and use cases. And whether you're looking to master one aspect of the platform or all aspects, these sessions are designed to showcase the most impactful features and provide best practices across the platform.
Thank you, Pete. With that, I will hand it over to Sunil to kick us off.
For today's session, we're going to be looking at Oracle Analytics Cloud, and I'd like to start off by showing a couple art of the possible slides. So here we have some race data, which is going to be time-driven and is going to be compared at many different points in time. So we see here, we're using Oracle Analytics Cloud to take data and see how it changes across the course of this entire lab. Next, we're looking at another time-based data set, where we're going to explore how the change of cost is going to basically increase or decrease as a result of the temperature in the city of Boston. We can also analyze geodata, where we have different heat maps looking at different variables, different predictors. We see here we have smart analytics by city, smart mobility by city, etc. And to even expand on the geodata, we have map data that's being used, where we are taking real-time intel and having this data plotted and analyzed in a machine learning model, where it will then allow us to determine these routes in real time. So, as Joey said earlier, data is becoming more and more and more impactful in our day-to-day lives. There is so much data that is being accumulated that it is all the more important to have a powerful tool behind you to analyze it. And we can look at a history of data analytics tools, going from reporting tools, where everything was going to be basically pre-canned. You were going to get what you get, and there wasn't a lot of flexibility with it. It's almost like you're going through a tunnel where you enter one way and you exit one way. With time, self-service business intelligence platforms started to become very, very popular. These had much more free-form access, different ways to upload data, more tools to help you prepare your data. And then after the data preparation phase, they would give you even more ways to kind of handhold you through the visualization and exploration process. Currently, we are at augmented analytics, where it is not just going to be ease of access of data, collaboration, freeform data access, but it is going to take all of these and integrate machine learning into them. So we are going to have assistance in your data preparation, whether that be anomaly detection or many other things. We're going to have natural language so that you can talk to an assistant and have your queries understood in a natural human language. And you're going to have tools like auto insights, which are going to explain your data set for you. And all of these features go together and build towards decision intelligence, which Oracle Analytics Cloud is on the cusp of. Decision intelligence is the concept of you taking an unadulterated, completely regular data set, plugging it into a tool, and having the tool prepare, clean, visualize, and explain your data for you so that you will have a prescriptive recommendation ready for you at the end of your data analysis process, all with very minimal user interference. So, what is Oracle Analytics Cloud? It is an augmented analytics cloud platform that is going to help you at all stages of the analytics process. This is data preparation. This is creating data flows for routine data tasks. This is data modeling. This is data visualization and even dashboarding so that once you've created your visualizations, they'll be neat, easy to read, and able to be grouped in a way that is best digestible. This is going to be augmented with one-click forecasts and auto insights to incorporate that machine learning into the platform to accelerate your time to insights. And then there's going to be natural language using LLMs, natural language querying, processing, generation. And on top of all of this, this is a very collaborative platform. So you could have anywhere from tens to thousands of users all able to work on data at the same time without stepping on each other's toes. And on top of all of that, this is a managed service. So the IT and infrastructure half of this, you create your analytics instance, you spin up your compute, then Oracle is going to manage the compute for you, make sure it's patched, so all of the latest securities are going to be added to it, and it's going to be encrypted by default. So when you have your instance, you will just be able to focus on doing your data analytics. When it comes to Oracle Analytics, I like to look at the analytics in three main buckets: governed analytics, self-service analytics, and augmented analytics. Starting with governed analytics, this is going to be the ability to take a look at this kind of single pane of glass tool and say, okay, these are the different models I have, these are the different users I have, these are, the different formulas and etc. that I have. Here are how I want them to be used. And I will have the ability to do that. I can create a system that is going to exactly fit my enterprise needs. With self-service analytics, this is your classic data visualization capabilities. I am a business analyst. I am given a task. I need to put this flat file, let's say it's an Excel workbook, into this data analytics tool, crunch some numbers, make some visualizations, gain some insights. I can boot up OAC. I can upload my data. I can use the smart tools to help me accelerate making my visualizations, making sure the data is prepared properly, and then boom, I'm done. And then lastly, we have augmented analytics. These are going to be the machine learning features that are going to help you get through your self-service analytics. So that's the built-in machine learning. That is the natural language querying. That is the smart calculations that you can create through natural language. That is the automated insights helping you explain your data and the data enrichment that's going to be present in the data preparation step. So now that we have a general idea of what Oracle Analytics Cloud is, let's take a look at some of Oracle Analytics Cloud's functional areas. First and foremost, connectivity. There is direct connectivity from most data sources to OAC. These could be Oracle SaaS tools. These could be open source databases. These could be third-party databases, other cloud databases, etc. There's tons and tons of connectors, and these connectors are super easy to use. We see here in the little video playing to the right that we're simply going to go in to the connectors, click a connector, choose our connection credentials, and create connectivity. It's an extremely quick, efficient process that is going to take you all but a couple of minutes. And for anything that isn't supported by a direct connector, we also have support for JDBC connectors, so you'll be able to build your own connections still to get to Oracle Analytics Cloud. OAC is going to be accessible by some third-party services. It's going to have its own full REST API library and integration with Dropbox and Google. So on top of the connectivity, we're going to look at data preparation. one of the key pieces of data preparation, which is kind of going to tag into some of the augmented analytics as well, is the idea that you're going to be able to have these tasks repeated. So when we create a data flow, we can have a data flow run in routine intervals. You can have a data flow saved and then reuse them. All of these are going to help you accelerate your business analytics. And in case someone is not super familiar with, SQL and some of these data operations, there is a very simple wizard-like approach that is taken. So you can use your branches, your aggregates, your groups, your joins, all through this drag and drop menu. And whenever you're changing your data, there's going to be a built-in logging system, so you'll know how you got from point A to point B. For self-service analytics, this is going to be the crux. This is the kind of flagship of all analytics tools. It's how can I go into a tool, click some buttons, crunch some numbers, and get something out of it that is useful to me and my business. And so, similarly to what we saw in the data flow, we've implemented a drag and drop interface where you can look at different charts, look at different fields, and simply click and drag fields to charts to get some visualizations. With the dashboarding aspect, you're going to be able to add cards to your dashboard so you can have different visualizations for different KPIs. There are dozens and dozens of data visualization types. There's support for calculations and custom calculations. If you want to have one of your fields look a little bit different, maybe you want to have an average of a field or something even more specific, so you can go very, very in depth with very complicated models if you need to. With one-click statistics, as the name, would imply, this is a way to open up a menu called one-click statistics. When you click on a visualization, and then you click on either prediction, clustering, outlier, or trend, and with simply one click, it will add these fields to your visualization. So we kind of get this picture of OAC as being something where it's very streamlined. You're going to have a lot of flexibility in the tool, and all of the machine learning is helping you get from data to your visualization as fast as possible. We also have the ability to create and secure your large data models. For your business analyst users, this could be something as simple as having a shared data set with live queries to your heterogeneous sources. For your performance, OAC is going to utilize an in-memory analytics data cache, so it will know when it is supposed to prioritize your queries versus when it's supposed to prioritize other operations, which will help with your speed. And using this along with your different governance tools, you can allow for separation within your database to really help you nail this data quality aspect and governance. For your analytics developers, you're going to similarly have the live federated queries to multiple data sources, and you're also going to have the semantic model markup language. And the semantic modeler is going to allow you to code and script to create very complex models. And we can see here how some of these objects are laid out and how you can expand to very, very large amount of objects, creating multi-dimensional layers to your models. And this is going to be using some of the same underlying technology as your, SAS Fusion applications and some of the other Oracle SAS applications. So if you're familiar with some of those, then you'll have a head start in understanding and working with the semantic modeler on OAC. And then some other things are when you're working with OAC, OAC is very conveniently going to be web-based, so you can access it from the console UI. You won't need to download it. You just need to have your user provisioned in your cloud accounts, and you'll be able to get started. And this is going to be tied with Git and many other CI/CD tools. After you've got your data prepared, cleaned, you've created some models, you've got your connectivity so you can feed more data into your model, you're going to want to actually create the model. And so here we see in the right, we are training a machine learning model. And once again, this is going to be no code, so you're not going to have to work with complicated data frames or other data structures. You're going to select what data you plan to train with. You're going to choose your model, and then you're going to select your hyperparameters and simply train your model. And once you have a model trained, you can reuse this model to test for future data that you bring in. So now that we understand some of the basic functional areas of Oracle Analytics Cloud, let's take a deeper look into some of the augmented capabilities. So first, I want to look at the explain feature. We're going to see that we've right-clicked on a field over here and clicked explain, and we see here that we have the basic facts about, in this case, it's going to be predicted attrition. It's going to take us through key drivers, and it's going to take us through segments that explain predicted attrition. And on top of that, it's going to give us different individual visualizations with little blurbs explaining them all. And so when you have these fields and you have these visualizations, there's going to be a way where you'll click a plus sign in the corner of the visualization and they will instantly populate into the canvas that you're working on. So if you see something in the explanation field, then what you can do is simply add it to your canvas and immediately start using it. So this is a good way to start analyzing your data. Just look for some key things, take a little bit of the sort of mundane routine. It'll help you do things that you know you need to do really quickly with just a couple clicks and no code. And so to build on to the explain, you have something called automated insights. Automated Insights is the multi-dimensional version of Explain, where you're going to click on Automated Insights and it's going to query through your entire dataset. And it's going to find dozens of things that it wants to explain. And usually it'll have visualizations to go and sort of back up the points that it's making. And once again, similar to the Explain feature, anything that you want, you can click plus on, and it will generate that chart in your canvas for you. So between explaining your variables and automated insights, you have a very streamlined approach to analytics and a very quick way for you to be able to generate dashboards with basic visualizations to understand datasets. And lastly, and possibly the most powerful feature is the AI assistant. This is based on a large language model selection, and it's going to function like a digital assistant. So what you see here on the right is a human is prompting the AI assistant with prompts in natural language. And we see here, create a calculation for GDP EXP percentage, and the AI is able to deliver a custom calculation from natural language. Similarly, if you have a question where you would like to maybe have a couple of variables put into a certain graph, or you want to have maybe a relationship between certain fields explained, then all of these are things you would be able to feed into the AI assistant. It will process it through natural language and come up with a solution for you. So, last piece is administration. Administration is something that's very important across all Oracle products. We need to make sure that your data is safe and that it is very easy for you to create safe users to prevent bad actors from doing things in your environment that, quite frankly, you don't want to happen. So, some of the key aspects of administration is it's integrable with the command line. As we said earlier, it's going to have the full API library support. It's going to be able to be analyzed with logs. So you have your audit logs, all of which are going to be able to be queried from your console if you choose to. And then all of your user activity in OAC is going to be logged and trackable as a result. So all of the pieces are there for you to be able to create an extremely secure environment. So lastly, now that we've looked at the functional matters of Oracle Analytics Cloud, We've taken a look at the augmented analytics. Let's take a look at some of the Oracle integrated analytics services. So this is going to be how we are going to extend our machine learning with database and AI trained models. So with Oracle Machine Learning, you're going to be able to choose from an extensive list of different machine learning algorithms. It's all going to be basically wrapped around your database using either OML for SQL, R, or Python. And you'll be able to store these ML models in a way that you will have a interface that is very similar to both to either Zeppelin or Apache notebooks. Sorry, Zeppelin or Jupyter notebooks. And with the AI trained models, we're going to take a look at vision, language, and document AI. So for AI language, this is going to be your sentiment analysis, text classification, keyword extraction, personal information extraction or obfuscation, depending on your use case. And some ways you'd be able to use this is, let's say you're scraping social media data, or let's say you are running a store and you have reviews and you want to get a better understanding of your reviews, but you have dozens of reviews coming in each week, and it's a big burden on your workforce to have to analyze them all. So AI language would be a way to accelerate those tasks. For AI vision and image classification, this is going to be almost exactly what it sounds like. It's going to help you detect objects. It's going to be used to classify images. So for some common use cases and some use cases that I've seen, we see here in the little video on the right, we have MRI classification. There have been drones that have went through sewers and they have used basically vision AI to take a look at this drone footage and see if they actually need to go down and repair the sewers, which has greatly decreased costs and increased efficiency in repairing sewers. And the central theme with vision and AI is you take an image and you find either a common feature that you're looking to find, or you're going to find something that's an anomaly that breaks the norm that you don't want to find. And then last piece is AI document understanding. AI document understanding is a way where you can create AI models that are going to, based on either pre-built document classifications that we've made or custom document classifications that you can train your models on, you will have your AI identify documents for you. And so some common examples that Oracle's built around are invoices, receipts, driver's license, and passports. So before I ship it over to Pete for a demo to put a visual aspect to all of the things that we've talked about so far, I'd also like to mention Oracle Analytics Mobile. This is a mobile interface where you can take your analytics and visualizations on the go. So, without further ado, Pete, you can take it away for a demonstration.
All right. Thank you very much, Sunil. And again, good day, everyone, and thanks again for attending our opening session for Day 1 and Beyond Oracle Analytics Cloud. My name is Pete Madura, and I'm a data platform architect here at Oracle, and we'll be giving you a tour of the platform for the next 35 minutes or so. So let's start with how you access the platform. Once the service is provisioned, all users will be provided a single URL to log in with. No desktop downloads to worry about. Going to hit my URL. And after you log in, you'll land on the OAC homepage. Let's take a quick look at that now. On the top left, you have the main menu. This is one method for accessing all of your work products like workbooks, data sets, connections, and much more. I'm logged in as an admin, so I have access to all areas of the platform. On the right-hand side, we have the Create button, which is where you start the building process for any of the functional areas. Just below the search bar, you can see objects displayed in groups by object type. Good news is, every user can customize their own home screen and tailor it to their desired layout. Maybe I want to see my data sets moved up a little bit higher. Well, good news is you can do that in here. If I come over here and I go to Customize Homepage, I can find my data sets. I can drag them up on my homepage, and maybe I want to display more than one row of recently accessed data sets that I have privileges to use. I'm going to save that, and now see your data sets are all at top, only a click away. Well, you can also create custom groups and assign any type of object to that group. So let's do that real quickly. I'm going to click on an object. I'm going to say add to custom group. We'll create a new one. Call it OAC Day 1 and Beyond. And we'll add a few more artifacts to it. There it is there. And we'll just add one more. We can come back to our customized homepage, and there it is, our new group. Bring that right to the top. So really, this is just designed to help you organize and quickly access any of your work products within the platform. So let's jump back up to the search. At first, it's a basic search. They can search for any object they have access to within the platform. So let's start and let's search for attrition. So that's going to bring back any object in here that in the title or description has attrition. It's just sorting it by year, but maybe I want to sort it by type. So you can see we have some data flows, some data sets, some machine learning models and workbooks that have the word attrition in it. But that's just one part of the search. Let's take a look at what else it can do. What if I searched for sales and profit by category and segment? Well, as you can see, not only will the system find those, it'll look for those keywords, it will pull back a data set that has those attributes you've entered into the search. It will also produce multiple visuals to help you get started. Now, each of these charts are interactive. So you can see there. And if you find a chart that is interesting to you, that you would like to analyze further, you can just select the link to bring it into the workbook. And what it does is it brings it into the workbook editor along with the data set to get you started. So you can see there that search is much more than just a keyword search and really can kind of help you get started. I like to think of it as the days of staring at a blank canvas are over. And this is just one of the first several features I want to talk about to help you get started in this platform. So I'm going to go ahead and shut that. And we're going to close the search results. The last area I want to mention on the home screen are these watch lists at the top. A watch list is a collection of one or more visuals that can be taken from any workbook you have access to. These watch lists can be grouped into different folders, and what's most important to understand about them is they're always kept up to date. And if you want to view the workbook they reside in, you just need to click that option, and it will launch directly to that workbook. So if part of your job is to monitor metrics and KPIs first thing in the morning, you no longer need to open up several different dashboards to get the information you're looking for. They will be sitting there on your homepage, up to date and ready for analysis. All right, let's dive a little deeper into the platform and let's add some data and review some of the augmented features my colleague discussed earlier in the webinar. Working with Excel, text, or CSV files couldn't be easier. The quickest method is to simply drag the file onto the home screen. So I've got a file over here on my other monitor, and I'm just going to drag it right here and let go. So it will quickly import the data and display several sample rows. Now I could say OK, and it would be immediately uploaded to the platform. But if I hit visualize, that will bring me not only import it, but it will bring me directly to the workbook editor. So think about that. 2 clicks, and you could have your data imported and be ready to start working with it. And for those administrators out there, this feature can be turned off. That said, most features in this platform can be controlled through fine-grained privileges, and that can be applied to users and or groups. All right, let's get on this workbook for a moment and take a look at the data set we just imported in our data preparation area. So there it is right here. And I'm actually just going to add it to my custom group, keep it front and center. There it is. And at this time, I'm going to update two settings in the data set to unlock several augmented features that I'll showcase in a few minutes. I'm just going to right click and go to inspect, which is the equivalent of properties. And I'm going to say enable insights and basically index the data set. Now that we've done that, let's go take a look at our data prep area. I'm going to open this up. So when you first come into the data prep area, you're basically greeted by all of your columns. Kind of very straightforward there. And you can see at the top of each column, you're given some information about it. Like this first one, clearly this is my primary key. Other ones like dates, you might see histograms, so you can get a range of the values there. Or even for attributes, this chart is showing you basically the percentage of some of the values. So this standard class has roughly 60% of the values in this data set. So you can get a lot of information just at the top of this pane. Now, here's some other pieces of information. This red bar, it is telling me that I have about 10% null populations. So that might be something I want to address in the future. Let's kind of look down here, see what else we got. If I hover over this red on postal code, it's telling me I have 4% roughly invalid zip codes. This system comes preloaded with zip codes across the globe, and it can know when some are right or wrong. This is why it's able to surface up some of these insights about your data. Now, kind of looking at this data, all right, so we have some measures over here. We can see sales, quantity, discount, profit. Well, this sales, I don't really want it to be displayed like that. I can come to here, and I can actually give it a different format. Now that's going to help anyone building visuals on the front end. The more work you do here, the less work you have to do when you're visualizing to kind of help clean up your data. So it's like one little task we can do with the data. Now on any column within here, you have the ability to use one-click features to help maybe enhance your data. If I come to ship date, I'm going to click the option to give me basically some date options. Do I want to extract maybe a date part? Maybe I want to extract the age. But for extract date, let's just extract the year. So there we go. We just created a whole new column here called ship date year. Now we have a dedicated year column. If I double click in here, I can alias it. And that goes the same for all of the columns. And while we're making these changes, the original data is never getting affected. These are simply layered on at runtime, all of these different preparation tasks. So you never have to worry if this is ever going to affect the source data that you bring in or you connect to. Now, a few other little tricks in here I want to show you to help with your data preparation is if I look at region, I know right here, I don't have a Western region. I only have a West region. Well, I can click in there and update it. So there's no longer any Western values. They've all been updated to West. And once again, with Southeast, I don't have that. I have an East. Now, what's this system actually doing? It's just doing a replace function over here. And if you notice, all of the changes we're doing are being captured here in this audit log. So that means anything you do with your data in these data preparation areas are going to be tracked, but they can also come back here and a user can come by and edit it, delete the step, reorder them, which really means you always are going to know how your data got from A to Z within this platform. Now, a few more features within this area I want to point out is we have another view here. It's called metadata view. This is great for quickly looking at all your columns, especially if you have a large amount of columns, 50, 100, 200 columns within this platform. It allows you to quickly update some of the characteristics of it. For example, if you have these two measures, you can multi-select. And now I can come here and say, make both of these currency. So you don't have to do them one at a time. You also have the option to maybe hide or maybe change the aggregation methods. The system defaulted to a sum, but I could come here, change it to any of the other built-in aggregation methods. So this is a good view of taking a different view of your data for doing some other tasks. I'm going to go back to the main view. And the last feature I want to point out here are recommendations. So within this platform, when this data is loaded, it does some machine learning and tries to profile and understand your data. And with that, it sometimes will create recommendations that can help you out with your data. There are some things called enrichments, and those are typically geographic based, where, for example, if you have a state and you want to know the country it's in, the system can actually enrich your data set with some of those geographic attributes. Again, it's never affecting the source data, but just adding to it so they run at runtime, and you have now up-to-date enrichment data. It can do other things like repair postal code. So obviously the system's seeing some inconsistency with my postal code, is asking me to repair. You might see an option to obfuscate if the system sees what it thinks are credit card numbers or social security numbers. And one other thing, if you select a column and you want to find the recommendations just for that column, they're all filtered right there. So what if I want to get the age in days from ship date? A simple click. And that has created a dynamic calculation of the age in days based on the current date with your ship date. I'm going to go ahead and alias this. And you can see here the system was even smart enough to make it an average. Of course, you can change that on the aggregation method. But so there's just a lot of ways within here to help not only clean your data, identify potential issues that you need to address, but also enhance it. Maybe it's creating a new column. Maybe it's applying other functions to your data. So a lot here. We are going to have a dedicated session in data sets. That's actually going to be session 3. So that will be in March. But let's go ahead and save this data set. And now we're going to create a workbook out of it. And I want to show you some of the augmented features. All right. So we are in the workbook editor right now. And you can see this is our data set. This was the Excel file that we loaded in there. You can even see the 2 new fields we created, ship date year and ship date and age. But now when you get to this blank canvas, and let's say this data set is new to you, well, how do you start learning about the data? You can ask the system to explain it to you. So if you right click on a column or data point, you can say, explain it to me. And what it's going to do, exactly what it says here, it is going to give you some basic facts about whatever column you selected. So basically, as it's thinking right now and going to the data, it's going to find, there we go, some basic facts about subcategory. So right now, it just breaks down all the different subcategories we have. But down here, it's comparing it to every measure or aggregated value in our data set. So you can see down here, quantity, sales, profit, discount, even our new one, our ship date, age, and days. So it took all of our aggregated measures and compared it to any of them. This explain feature can also potentially find some key drivers of that data point. It will produce segments of that data point. And these are very interesting. To take the time to come through here, and there might be some very meaningful, viably statistic segments that the system can find that maybe you weren't aware of that you would like to focus on. And there's also a lot of different settings to drive and build new types of segmentations within here. And there also sometimes the system can find some anomalies based on that selected column. But when you're in here, if you see some visuals you want to analyze and take a little further, go ahead and select them. Just grab a few of these and say add selected. And we'll just move one of these up here. All right, so in a few minutes, we were able to have the system explain the data to us. And now I can take my time, learn about subcategory a little bit more. And if you notice, this is all done by the system. And this was only one column. We could do this for multiple columns here to really, really get an understanding of all the different key data points of your data set. So again, the explain feature is looking at one column. The auto insights feature is looking at the data holistically. This little yellow light bulb up here in the top right, this tells me the system has found some insights. So I'm going to click that and I'm going to expand this panel. So it will start rendering all of these different auto insights that it has found. I'm just going to let some of them render. And you can see There's usually quite a few of them. There could be dozens and dozens and dozens of them, depending on the data set, of course. Now I'm going to create a new canvas, which is the equivalent of a dashboard page. And when you see a visualization you like, you can just hit the plus sign and add it to your canvas. Or if you really want to place it somewhere specific on the canvas, you can actually drag it, and I want it over here. And as you continue to see these, I'll take a forecast. You can actually create forecasts for you. I'll take this chart looking at profit, and we'll take this waterfall. All right, so let me minimize this for a second, and I'm just going to close this. So these were all produced by Auto Insights. Let's clean them up a little bit. Just give them a nice little border. So the best thing about these Auto Insights is not only is it looking at holistically, it does a few other features for you. If I hover over here, it gives you a detailed description of the visual it created in case you're not quite sure. In addition to that, you can see down here I have calculations. I didn't create those. They didn't come in with my data set. These are calculations that were created by the Auto Insights engine itself to support some of these visuals. So the system knows it needs sometimes some counts and to build other calcs to fulfill the visualization that it's trying to produce. And it will add those calculations to your workbook automatically with, again, a description of what the calculation is doing. Now, my favorite part about these Auto Insights is the first time it runs unsupervised. But you have the control to have it run in different directions. And what does that mean? You get to tell what type of charts you want it to produce. You also get to drive where it's looking. So this first run, unsupervised, focused on sales and profit. Well, what if I care about quantity and discount? And maybe it focused on state and I want to focus on subcategory. I can keep modifying where it focuses its energy on and say apply. And as soon as this turns yellow again, that means it's produced a whole new host of insights based on what I'm looking for. So this is 100% a dashboard building tool that you can continuously run to continuously get new insights. Very powerful part of the platform. And lastly, our AI assistant. We're very excited about this. It's one of the newest features to the tool. And really what this does is allow you to converse in natural language with your data sets. And that can be a flat file like I brought here, or it could be with other database connections or cloud services that you connect to. But let's just do a little test right here. Let's say I want you to display the top 10 states by profit. Now, what it will do here, it will do its best to take that, look at your data points and all the metadata with your data sets and produce some charts or some other natural language generated text to help you explain and answer your question. All right, so what did it found? It found here's a map that shows state profit filtered by top 10. Perfect. I'm going to create a new canvas and I'm going to add this to my canvas. And what if I say change to a bar chart? See what it does there. All right, there's my bar chart. I'm going to add that to my canvas too. So you can continually ask follow-up questions with this chatbot, because that's really all it is. Like Sunil said, this is being supported by a large language model. And again, really easily bringing your data, index it, start asking questions. And it can do a lot more than just create visuals. And when you're done chatting with it and you want a brand new conversation, you just clear the chat history and then start typing your new question. Okay, great. So last thing I want to do here, so that kind of covers the augmented features. But now that we've built out a little bit, let me show you what it's like to save some of your work. So I'm going to come up here to the save, and we'll call this OAC Day1 and Beyond. And you have two options. You can save to My Folders, which is kind of like your own little playground to save stuff, or you can save to Shared Folders. And with shared folders, this is where you're basically your whole organization is going to access these in a very controlled and secured environment. I'm actually going to create a new folder here. OAC Day 1 and Beyond. We'll create the folder. There's my folder. Save. So I've just saved this workbook to a new folder that now I can then add users or groups to it to be able to access it and then maybe either edit it or just consume it as a viewer. All right, so it's kind of a quick walkthrough on some of the augmented features and some of the visuals that that can produce by itself. Let's switch over to another area. I want to switch over to connections and connecting to other corporate and enterprise grade data sources. So if I go to the Create button, I'm going to go to Connection. And as you can see here, we have lots of built-in connectors. And as long as your credentials and your networking is all set up, these are a snap to connect to. We're going to set one up to an Oracle Autonomous Database. We'll call it ADW 23AI. I'll grab just some of the other pieces of information for my credentials. And now I've made a connection. So I now have a connection that will appear in my data panel. And that permission, that I can give permission to other users. But I want to create a data set off of that. So I just said create data set. And there's my ADW 23AI. So I am now connected to an Oracle database. I'm going to look at all my schemas. And here is where you can basically start selecting from your views and tables in those services. So I'm just going to come down here. I'm going to select a bunch of objects, drag them up. Now, since I selected multiple objects, if this auto join tables is turned on, if they have the same name, primary keys and foreign keys, it will join them automatically. If they aren't named, I'll show you how to manage them. But if they are named properly, it will join them. But of course, any join, you can come in here and change the relationship type. You can see here we have the join path. If you need additional columns to make the join, you have that ability. And this looks pretty close to the data preparation screen we were at earlier. That's because it's the same screen. We're just on this join diagram. If I go directly into one of these objects, this is the same data preparation screen we were on before, and we can do all the same features. This just happens to be a database connection versus a flat file, but it acts no different. Now, a few of the things to be aware of here. This will connect to any view or table, but also I want to let those people out there that use SQL, you can come directly to this platform and enter your SQL. So if you have SQL from another service and you want to bring it over here, you can copy and paste it and run SQL directly. So I always like to point that out in this platform. So I just want to talk about data sets for a second. Data sets are a flat file, as you saw before. This is also a data set. This is comprised of a bunch of database tables. Well, in this platform, you can also mix and match connections. So I could have an Oracle and maybe a non-Oracle connection here. I can also add a file to this data set. So I could literally add a flat file directly to this data set and the user wouldn't even know, right? Because for them, they just want to build visuals. For the person architecting the data set, you want to obscure all of that different work that you need to do right here. So a data set can take on multiple different forms. And to see what this looks like, I'll just save it as a multi-object data set. And as soon as it's done saving, I want you to see what it looks like on the front end for the user if they were going to visualize everything. So this opens up in the workbook editor. And there you go. You have all the different folders and everything here can be customized from the aliasing to the order. You can hide columns, reorder where the columns land in here. So you have a lot of control over how the user sees their different folders and basically of these multi-object data sets. All right, let's move over to data flows. So I'm going to bring up an example. I'm going to go to data, data flows, and I'm going to bring up an example right here. A data flow is a feature within this platform that allows you to take one or more data sets and create new data. That's as simple as I can put it. So you start with data, whether that's a flat file or a database connection, And then you layer on different things into your pipeline. This could be to clean, to enhance, to do both. Maybe to then do some cleaning and then join to another one. And then at the end of the day, what are you doing? It is going to save data to the data set. It's going to create it as a CSV right in the platform, no differently than if you were to upload it yourself. So then the other nice part of this comes built in with a scheduler. So if I come here and I say new schedule, these data flows can be scheduled. So you can have these running daily, hourly, weekly, whatever your use case requires, all built within the platform. And every single one of these, they're called nodes. They're really wizards. So for example, if I look at split columns, well, what do I want to split? Customer name. I want to split it into two using the space delimiter. All wizard driven. If I come over here, there are my two columns, first name, last name. If I come to bin, once again, wizard, you can really customize any of your binning. And if I look down here, that's my new bin column. So very powerful, very flexible, and very easy to use, using most of the common features that analysts need to transform and enhance their data. So a few other examples I want to show you are the other thing the data flows do is they train machine learning models, and they can apply machine learning models, and they can apply our pre-trained AI models, right? So I'm just going to go into two quick examples. The machine learning built natively in this platform is designed for citizen data scientists. There is no coding involved. The way it works is you select your training data set, or you can use a data flow to help clean and train it on the fly. And then you select an algorithm. What are you trying to do? Maybe you can see down here, you have a numeric predictor, multi-classifier, clustering. Once you select your model algorithm, you select what you want to train on. And for every algorithm, we expose several hyperparameters. So again, no code environment here, but allows you to quickly still build meaningful models. And these models we provide the quality scores on these models. There are other underlying data sets that help data scientists monitor the models over time, but very easy to set up. And then you save the model. Once you save a model, you can then provide access to it to other analysts so they can then run these and then get the predictions out of them themselves without ever having to know or being part of the model building process. And the last example is connecting to one of our AI services. Now, these are external services, but they are integrated in the way that once you connect to the AI model, you basically say, well, this is connecting to a language model. And in this scenario, I want to look at sentiment analysis for self-reviews. You select the sentiment analysis. These are the outputs you're going to get. You have a lot of other features in here to customize what the model will deliver against your data. So again, all drag and drop, all within the platform, many integrated services. So data flows have a couple different data purposes to either create data or work with machine learning models and our AI OCI services. The last area I want to touch upon quickly is our semantic modeler. This is our strongest data modeling tool we offer. It is built directly within the platform. And I'm going to go into an example. Data models or semantic models really provide organizations with that one version of the truth. And within here, it couldn't be easier. You start by connecting to all your data sources. These could be Oracle, non-Oracle. You pull in all of the tables, all of the SQL statements, all of the views that you're going to utilize in your data model. You then do all of your aliasing, and you do all your joining, and I'll show you really quick. There's a lot of other tools in here to help you organize your data, whether you want to do it through a visual diagram to understand all of your joins within here, or maybe you want to look at lineage and understand how data got from one piece to another. And if I come into here and I say, show lineage, the platform will automatically show you where these data points come through. because data models can get very large, and these administrators need to understand where the data is coming from in case they need to make changes or enhance it. Now, the few things I want to talk about this before I wrap this section up is data models are different than data sets because they offer you the ability to create very powerful hierarchies here. They also allow you to have permissions. So that means you could have an object or a folder under a specific permission. So some users see it, some don't. It also allows you for data level security within here. So a whole host of options. We're going to have a whole entire session on semantic modeling within here. And this is also integrated fully with Git if your company uses GitHub at all. But that was the last functional area we wanted to cover today. I know we covered a lot, but we're going to be breaking these down into all the future sessions. So each functional area has one or more sessions dedicated to them. And before we wrap up today's session, I just want to start by saying thank you to everyone who joined us today. I hope you found this informational and was a good use of your time. As I stated at the beginning, this is the first of many planned Day 1 and Beyond sessions for Oracle Analytics Cloud. And each of the sessions will be covering more functional areas like Intro to Dashboarding. That will be our next session. Intro to Datasets, Administration, Machine Learning, just to name a few.
Thank you, Pete. Thank you, Sunil. Really appreciate the session. Great work on that. We have a couple of different resources on the screen for you now. If you want to learn more beyond just these Day 1 and Beyond series videos and webinars, then if you're looking for further learning beyond these sessions, you have things like Oracle University, where you can get certified on different Oracle services, such as Oracle Analytics Cloud as well. You'll have different learning subscriptions that you can follow along with. If you want to get hands-on, there's a way to get an Oracle free tier account to work with a variety of different services that fall under that category. You also have different tutorials and labs that you can work with as well. We have some links to documentation and best practices through the Cloud Adoption Framework, which you can utilize to learn more as you start to work with these services more often. And we also have a variety of Oracle Learning Library videos on YouTube. So this is more of your self-service options to learn more on OCI. If you want to get some more help from teams at Oracle, such as engaging our customer enablement team, you can work with your account teams to start a personal training program where we work with you and your team on a variety of different services through 60, 90 to 120-minute sessions based off of what is best suited for you and your teams. We can walk you through hands-on live labs. So if there's some labs you're interested in, our team can lead you through those as well. And we also have more Day 1 and Beyond sessions. So if you're interested in that, you can email us at our email down here below. We also have a partner program called Code Innovate, where if you have a use case that you would like to build out, there will be 5 half-day online sessions where our teams will help co-develop solutions with you. So if you have something in mind, you can work with your account teams to engage them as well. And you can email the associated email here as well. Last thing, as Pete mentioned, this is the first of many Oracle Cloud webinars for Oracle Analytics Cloud, but we also have other series going on as well. So we have our core series, hands-on series, Cloud Native Launchpad, security series, and Did You Know, which will give you insights to new things happening within OCI. So you can link to these and make sure to register for those as they come up as well. They'll be happening multiple times a month. So thank you everybody for joining.